2023 meeting of the West Bridgewater School Committee. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence. Thank you. The listing of matters on tonight's agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at this meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being shown live on cable and is being live streamed on the West Bridgewater Community Access Media website, wb-cam.org. A recording of this meeting will also be made available on the wb-cam.org website. I'd like to start off by introducing Mr. Luke Destramp to the committee. Thank you for being here and taking your time to be our student rep tonight. Next up is the approval of our September 11th meeting minutes, which we're going to table until our next meeting, since it was a busy month and they aren't quite complete yet. So we have some new teachers here to recognize.
So I have a few new staff members who were unable to be here last month for recognition, so we don't want to give having experienced this. So we'll start with a part-time instructional assistant who's very familiar to this building. She was the last time she was here was 2020 as a student. Is Sarah Miller, who is the instructional assistant at Spin Streets. Come on up. Instructional assistant.
Great.
Next, we have two second grade teachers at WB School. First is Gabby Sharkey.
Hello everybody, my name is Gabby Sharkey. I am one of the second grade teachers in West Bridgewater. I absolutely love it so far. I graduated from West Bridgewater in 2019, and then I just went to Assumption University and graduated from there. Thank you for having me.
And next is Olivia Sheehan.
Hi, I'm Olivia Sheehan. I am not a West Bridgewater graduate. I went to Bridgewater State University. I just graduated last December. I made friends with people who went to West Bridgewater, so when I saw the posting, I was like, oh, second grade, love it. West Bridgewater, heard great things, and that really just has been true. I feel very supported, very welcomed here. So far, the year is going great, and it's already October, but we're off to a great start. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to everybody. It's nice to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. Another recognition, Mrs. Page.
Thank you. Samara received an award a little bit ago, but with scheduling in sports, we wanted to make sure that we had her come to the meeting to get her recognition, which she well deserves. So this is the College Board National Recognition, and this is for Samara, who, if anyone doesn't know her, is a current junior here at our middle senior high school, great student, great kid. She's receiving this award. It's a National African American Recognition Award from the College Board for high achievement in school, along with outstanding performance on her PSATs and/or AP exams. So congratulations, Samara. Can we get a picture with this one, please?
Sure.
Jeremiah, you want me?
seat, please. Do we want to take a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take a minute if the new teachers and Samara want to scoot out. Yeah. All right, we are back, and we have one more recognition of retirement. Mr. Bodwell?
So usually at the end of the year, we recognize our retirees, but Mary Pistorino retired on September 21st. We knew this going into the school year. Mary had been here for over 19 years as a world language teacher, coordinator. She was also an EL coordinator, an part-time EL director for us, and just did an outstanding job. Mary would come to us with great ideas as a coordinator. She was very hardworking, very dedicated, and always had kids first. So we're going to miss her. She was invited, but Mary loves to do all the work and let other people shine. She's not big for coming out for this, but it's very well deserved. We miss her already. She did a great job, put a lot of effort into the working with the kids.
We'd like to thank her as well on behalf of the school committee, and we wish her a long and happy, healthy retirement. All right, superintendent's update.
Okay, so I want to go through my goals, which have been shared as part of your Google Drive. So this year I have 4 goals rather than 6. What I've done is one of them had been kind of eliminated due to the district plan for success, and the other one I integrated into the other goals. So the first one is an elementary school building project, which is a district improvement goal. Goals to continue to move forward with the school building process, working with the school building committee and the MSBA to take the next steps towards building a new elementary school in West Bridgewater to address the severe overcrowding issues as well as concerns over the age and conditions of the 3 elementary schools. So some of the highlighted actions will be attending all school building committee meetings and public meetings. I'll talk about a public meeting in a few minutes. Gathering all relevant information and data for the school building committee, meeting with all stakeholders within the school and community to identify needs that we have at the elementary level, completing all feasibility paperwork required by the MSBA, and I think very important is continued communication with the public via email, social media, and dedicated website posting. So I think the most important thing we can do is make sure everyone's aware of what's going on in the community so they have very few unanswered questions. So hopefully we can move forward with the project. The second goal has to do with instructional leadership and student achievement, which is very important, obviously, in all of our school systems. It's a student learning goal. And the goal is to support and monitor administrators in the district while providing instructional leadership to improve student achievement as measured by statewide assessments to an average above the state average in the aggregate annually for grades 3 through 10, which are MCAS grades. Some of the highlighted actions, individual and team walkthroughs at each of the schools throughout the year. We did that last year. We'd like to continue that. It's very important to see what's going on in the classrooms. Collaboration with the administration to ensure curriculum standards are covered and learned. Work to ensure consistency with assessments and data collection. So we make sure what we're teaching is being learned and we have the assessments and the data to back that up. Review all of MCAS assessments and create action plans to improve performance. We're currently working on that right now at all schools. Review the use of the win blocks and plus blocks, what additional time we have to increase student achievement within the schools, and continue the collaboration with the administrators, coordinators, and instructional team leaders throughout the building. So we make sure we're working with our leaders to help our staff, which ultimately will help our students. The third goal is implementation of new programs, a professional practice goal. This is somewhat of a continuation because we're in year 2 for these programs, but to work with the building principals and director of curriculum, provide all relevant and necessary resources to implement with fidelity the new elementary literacy programs, Haggerty Foundations and Wit and Wisdom, and the new secondary math program, Illustrative Math. So continue to collaborate with administrators to create professional development that supports these programs. ensure that common planning time is in place to allow time to discuss the programs and brainstorm ideas to move forward. Work with content area experts, the coordinators, the instructional team leaders, and our DESE consultants. They'll help our staff. Showcase the new programs through curriculum nights, newsletters, postings, our academic night at the end of the year, and goal setting for programs that show growth and understanding. And finally, the fourth goal is a social emotional learning and culture of belonging goal, which is a student learning goal. Goal is to work with administrative teams to develop a social and emotional learning plan curriculum that will be integrated into each school in a district and provide an environment that supports the wellness of all students while promoting a culture of inclusiveness and a culture of belonging for all. We have well-established SEL teams at each of the schools made up of dedicated teachers looking to promote that within the schools. This year I started morning visits twice a month, so I'll be at the schools in the morning at arrival and continuing walkthroughs at schools. We've got great Wildcat Pride programs. I attended one at the Howard School already. They had a whole school assembly, which was excellent. And our PBIS programs, social, emotional, and mental health supports in place for students, things that we need to add if we don't already have them, especially I think throughout the district, but looking specifically at the elementary level, which we need to add more staff, and ultimately to create a budget that includes all needs for the district. We keep telling the town that these are our needs and why we need them, and we'll continue that conversation. So those are the four goals.
Right, you obviously put a lot of thought into those and effort, so thank you. They are, I think, measurable and achievable, so we look forward to getting your updates on your progress toward meeting those.
Absolutely.
So I do actually, I think they are measurable if we look at all of the action strategies, timelines, outcomes. I just like to see the goal itself written measurable, just so that when we're writing your evaluation, we're looking at, well, how do we know if Mr. Bottomwell met the goal? Are we looking at every single thing on this list being checked off? Are we looking at 8 out of 10? And so just making it a little bit more specific for us.
Sure.
So we can determine.
Okay.
When I write a SMART goal, I never want to look at 100%.
Right.
None of us are 100% perfect all the time. Right? So that's just my one piece of feedback is making it even more smart, so to say.
Sure.
In terms of making it measurable and time bound.
Okay, I can definitely work on that.
Right. It's still you.
It is. So just to provide a quick update of where we stand with the elementary school project, if people are watching, they can scan that QR code. That will bring them to the website. Again, we're trying to be as transparent and informative as we can. Just a little bit backing up, we've sent out emails, we've made social media postings, we've had coffee hour discussions, website posting, and Facebook posts, providing information out to the public of what this project is, the history behind it, because we feel it's important to get that information out there. On September 18th, we had a feasibility study and schematic design information night. I think it was fairly well attended. I remember that night it was pretty rainy and not the greatest night to go out. It was also live streamed and taped, so if they didn't get to watch it, there is a video that people can watch. We do have the website, which is dedicated to the project. You'll find links to the school building committee members, the minutes of the meetings, the presentation, and other important documents are listed on the website. This Thursday, the chair, Gary Keith, and myself will be presenting to the Finance Committee at 6:30. We'll go through pretty much our same presentation and ask them if they have any questions or concerns. But another opportunity for us to get the information out there. And then ultimately on Monday, October 16th, will be the special town meeting here at the Middle Senior High School in the auditorium, where there will be an article for the townspeople to vote on a feasibility study and schematic design. The cost of that is $1.2 million, is what the article will say. The information gathered will take about 2 years, and it will be reimbursed at the MSBA rate of 54.79%. So I certainly welcome questions or concerns or thoughts people have. This 1.2 isn't to decide on the scope of the project. It's not to decide on where the building will be. the grade level configuration. It's to gather all that information. And it's a very time-consuming, in-depth process. So that's why it's expensive, but we'll be getting, multitude of documents and information to help inform the public so we can come up with a project scope, a cost associated with it.
And can I just clarify, because I've seen a couple of things floating around on social media with numbers, with figures already of how much this building is going to cost. This $1.2 million covers the study so that we can determine this.
Correct.
At this point, we don't know.
Correct.
But I have seen some numbers floating around on social media, and they're just not, they are not true.
Right.
So.
Yeah, people can look at different projects and
Yeah.
they can say what it costs now. Again, this will be 2 years down. This won't be bid for over 2 years. It won't go to town meeting vote for that. So there are no numbers associated because it could vary greatly depending on the project.
I think to pick up on something that you just said, Robin, what I've been witnessing as well on social media is that this is being deemed as a nice have versus a necessity. And it's kind of being pinned against or positioned as a competing priority. But to me, everything's a necessity for the strategic growth for our town and safety and well-being of our residents. So I think that's one thing that, that concerns me is that it's like, well, the schools are old. I mean, it's because you've taken such great care and that there's been, a lot of work put into keeping them, the lights on and the faucets running. It's kind of been painted as a nice to have versus, what the reality is going to be in, the foreseeable future, with modular classrooms or
It's a good point.
dumping more money into buildings that just doesn't make sense.
It's very important to note that because, I was part of the Middle Senior Building project. And when we went for the feasibility study, we had an old building. It was older than our elementaries, but I think it was 1952. The elementary schools are 1956, 58, and 68. They're old. They certainly need modernization. There's certainly concerns we have. But what we didn't have at the middle senior high school was the overcrowding. We are bursting right now. Pretty much every classroom at the Roselle McDonald is being used. Pretty much at Spring Street, Howard next year, we'll have bubbles going from 4 to 5 in every classroom. We didn't have that at the middle senior high school. We could have survived there, but the projections of the MSBA right now, currently today, I think we have 783 students pre-K to 6. They're projecting over the next 10 years that number to be about 1,150. So there's nowhere they're going to go within the schools. They're going to go into modular classrooms. We hope that's not going to happen until we have a building. We can't guarantee that, but that is the reality. The reality is we will run out of space when these developments get filled and our population in town goes up. We've talked about school choice. We've talked about number of school choice students we've taken over the past few years, especially at the elementary level. We've taken more at the middle senior high school level because we've had space. So this is a growing population in West Bridgewater. The MSBA has said, you're growing where a lot of places aren't growing. And they recognize that, and they're giving us a growth factor that is representative of the growth in town. The over 150 homes, an apartment complex, the MBTA housing that will go in, requiring us to build more homes or living spaces in town. So the reality is we'll be overcrowded. And the reality is we'll have to do something. And if it's not the MSBA, it's going to be solely on the backs of the taxpayers, where a project going through the MSBA right now has a reimbursement rate as high as 54.79%.
So you've touched on a lot of the points that I want to point out now, but I really think we need to reiterate that if the feasibility study is not approved, that means that the town will be paying 100% of the cost of repairs, expansions on buildings, modular classrooms if we have to add them. So the feasibility study is the process that the state has provided us to be reimbursed, and I think it would be very wise to take advantage of it.
Right.
And I think that's a point we want to make to people who say this is a nice thing to have, but we don't need it. That this maintenance is coming. We have electrical systems that have to be updated. We have all kinds of issues that come up with aging buildings that have to be addressed. You can't put those things off. So the town will foot 100% of the bill for those. Or we can get the state to reimburse us at about 54.8%. So I think it would be better to take the state's money.
And the 54.79%, the 54.8%, that's for both the feasibility and the building of the school. It's not just for the feasibility study? or-
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think they do reevaluate year to year the number. That's our number for this year. But I believe our number was a 52%
so it's a
previously.
goal.
Back to the old building project. So
There are a
it
few
looks like it's
factors.
going
Okay.
in that direction. Yeah, so again, this study will be not just a study to, looking at a few things, it's going to look at everything. And we're talking 1.5 to 2 year study. So we will get detailed information on what is best. And we've got a great school building committee. We've got a lot of dedicated people. We've got 25 members, both, school, town, professionals, people that know what they're talking about. So that's their job, is to look at all this information and come forward with what they think is the best project. But again, if people have questions or concerns, I really hope they reach out and ask them, because if they don't, then it's unfortunate, because they may go to town meeting not as informed as they should be.
Or with misinformation.
Correct. All right. Just updating, we had a planning for success. We created a plan back last year, and it was run and approved by the school committee. So on September 20th, we met with our group. Great attendance. We had educators, administrators, parents, school committee members, one of our students. We revisited the plan that goes from this year up through 2027. The link to that plan is on our website. We have strategic objectives of student success, curriculum, staff development, and facilities and resources. And under those 4 objectives, we have created 28 strategic initiatives. We know we're not going to go through every initiative. That's why it's a multi-year plan. We talked about making connections between the district plan and the district mission. We worked in groups to create action plans, and I think that was beneficial, because we got people involved and we started looking at what are the plans and how are we working to achieve those initiatives. And the goal of the district is to have educator goals, administrator goals, school improvement plan goals, which you'll hear later tonight, to all coordinate with the district plan. We all should be going in the same direction. So that's how my goals are written, and the administrators and our educators. So it was nice to get everyone back together. It's a great group. And I think we'll do that yearly throughout the plan, so we continue to talk about it and keep it on the forefront of what we're doing.
Yeah, I thought it was great to meet. And I think your idea to do that every year, just to remind ourselves of the plan and our goals, and get everyone excited for the
Yes.
year is great. Thank you.
In your packet, you have the Reed's quarterly report. Reed's has a new executive director. Dina Medeiros did a great job in her first meeting. So that just provides you a little bit of information, what's going on at Reed's Collaborative. Mrs. Page is going to provide us with a travel presentation to talk about a little change to potential itinerary.
Yes.
All right, hold on.
Ms. Edgar, who is running the travel abroad, was not able to come this evening, so I let her know that I would present for her. There has been a little bit of unrest in Ecuador, and so they're looking, because they want students and families to feel safe and comfortable when going abroad. So they're looking to change the travel to Greece. It looks beautiful. It's a 10-day. The time is the same. It's in July. So they will fly into Athens, where they will do days. Day 1, they're flying overnight to Greece. Then 2 and 3 and 4, they are in Athens and doing some exploration, some tours, and so forth. On day 5, they board an island cruise, where they will spend some days going to the different islands. And day 9, they're back to Athens. and then departing home on day 10. It's a pretty, jam-packed with a lot of great activities and tours, the food, the pictures of the food were amazing, the pictures of the sightseeing was beautiful. So they're really excited. They did not want to put this out to parents and families. They did have some inquiries about a change because of, in the Galapagos, and so they did get some family requests as to changes if that was going to happen. We said that we would look into it, and we did. The sector felt like this was a great change, and that the families would probably feel safer on this trip. So once approved by the school committee, then there's the food, it's delicious. Once approved by the school committee, then we'll start to advertise and put that out to see. Right now, I think there were 9 to 10 students who had signed up, but I think because of the unrest, there was some hesitation. So we're hoping if this is approved, move forward, that we'll get some more members to join the trip.
And obviously, if kids had committed to the other trip and it is changed, they can transfer it or get their money back. They decided
We didn't
to.
want to put it out yet because it wasn't approved, the change, so we waited. But yes, if there's somebody who doesn't want to go to Greece, they certainly can, go back.
It's the same company that we've
Yes,
used.
still-
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't, because you already approved the EF program, I didn't go through all of that with you this evening, but it's the same company, just a different destination.
So about how many students are you hoping?
Sign up for.
Well, last time we had about 30-ish, so we're hoping at least 20, 24 would be great. You can go with as few as 10. It's just a matter of, the chaperones, how many you
Did you need to fill out numbers with school committee members?
I was gonna say, I'll go to Greece.
Well, I'm telling you, the Galapagos looks fantastic too. But I know, it's a great experience for the kids. They come back and they really have a good experience. It's good to see them. So with your approval, I will go back to the center and say we are good to move forward.
I'll make a motion to accept the changes to the travel abroad program as presented by Mrs. Page.
Second.
Any other discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
All
very
set?
much.
Happy planning.
This is where I lose myself. Oh. Just want to give you a quick heads up of the middle senior high school. We've been talking, Mrs. Page and I have been talking since last year about the schedule. I think it's always healthy to have good discussions on things that are so important in a school. And schedule is one of the biggest things that goes into the daily life of kids and staff. So we're beginning the process of reviewing the middle senior high school, which is a 4x4 block schedule, which we've had for quite a few years. The middle senior high school and Ms. Page have come up with a presentation. We're looking at that. But I think there is a lot of something that goes through the teachers and the school committee, because it'd be a change of working conditions if we change the schedule. So I think it'd be important to look, have a subcommittee of the school committee to review the schedule, any potential changes, and have some good open discussions on, what that could look like and how it could benefit our students and staff.
I would be more than happy to be on that subcommittee
All
if
right.
anyone else has any interest, but
I'm happy to as well. I live it every day, so.
Okay. You live by a schedule. I know, that's good. All right, excellent. This is just throwing it out there. Thank you. Just a reminder that our budget subcommittee, Mr. Dragonetti, Mr. Schmier, and I will be meeting with Mrs. Grant. Mrs. Marble is going to join us as well, talk some special education, and at least the Board of Selectmen representative. We're not sure if a Finance Committee member will be there as well. We've talked about this for a while now. The goal is to collaboratively share all relevant information about this year's budget with an eye towards FY25. Some of the topics we want to talk about are school choice numbers, social and emotional needs, the project needs, out-of-district placements, our EL population, and any enrollment concerns that we're having. These meetings will be held. We'll hopefully do another one prior to our meeting in March when we go through our full budget. Again, the goal is that they hear the information, they hear what our needs are early, and we continue to talk about the same kind of things. And school improvement plans. Each principal is going to come up and present some highlights of their plans, and you have their full plans in your packet.
So you'll see that both the Spring Street and the Roselle McDonald school improvement plans align really closely, as Mr. Bodwell said, to the district success plan. So goal number 1, increasing student achievement as measured by district assessments. We're really excited this year that the Spring Street School, all the kindergarten teachers and the 2 full-time preschool teachers are part of our DESE grant, our early literacy grant, which is great because it's great that we're all going to be on the same page and our consultant can really get in and support our teachers. We'll continue to progress monitor every 2 to 4 weeks and really making sure that our interventions that we have in place are working, and if not, where can we tweak them? And the consultant's been great with helping us differentiate and really dive into the data. And then along with that DESE consultant, working on creating structured literacy routines that align with the science of reading and making sure that the children are getting the best instruction they can get, especially in small groups. Goal number 2, by the end of the 23-24 school year, teachers will strengthen their knowledge and implementation of our new literacy program to make literacy programs to make effective decisions that support student growth and development. It was new to everyone last year. They kind of just got their feet wet last year, and this year we're going to really be digging in and making sure the teachers are using the programs to the best of their ability. Part of that will be creating pacing guides, not only for wit and wisdom, but for especially the younger grades, the foundations and integrity programs as well. It's great for consistency and making sure we're meeting all those important parts of the program. We had some great professional development last week, and we found some great ways that we're going to be able to intertwine some of those culturally responsive teaching practices, especially with our new curriculum, Wit and Wisdom. And then again, always using formative assessments to plan the instruction. That's why we do these assessments, and to make sure we really know where our kids need support and what kids we can really push to do the best they can. Goal number 3, increase collaboration between related service providers and teachers to strengthen professional capacity to support all students. We've had SEL committees at the Spring Street School before, but we want to really rejuvenate them and make them a active participant in kind of looking at how we can intertwine some SEL strategies into the curriculum. And then we also want to take, I've been talking to Mrs. Marble already about our current preschool model, and is that the best model for our youngest students? We're hearing a lot from families that, they're looking for full-time, they're looking for more time. So we're just going to start looking at that now to see what improvements, if there are any, for our youngest students. Sure.
Is that,
So we applied for a grant last year. It's called the Early Grades Literacy Grant, and it provides consulting hours with a DESE consultant who is an expert in literacy instruction. She not only does class observations, she runs after-school meetings that the participants are part of with really structured difficult PD, really pushing the teacher. She helped us formulate our data meetings 3 times a year. So she is part of the grant, and we were able to buy a lot of materials as well through this grant. See in the McDonald school improvement plan, it also involves DESE coming out for a site visit. And that was a little stressful last year because no one wants DESE coming to their school. But it was really eye-opening, and it was great for the teachers to hear that they're just starting to do really, really, really good work. And we're up year 2 of the grant. It's a 3-year grant, and then you can sign on for additional years. I have a friend who has the same grant in Lakeville, and they're actually, I think, in year 6. Just don't want to get rid of it, I guess.
or a new grant?
Yeah, so it's the same grant, they just keep continuing it because they say it's a 3-year grant, but I think the DESE was so excited, someone still wanted to stay involved, they just didn't say no.
So do you find that the small groups
Are able to accommodate kids that are at different learning stages and abilities?
Right, part of our data meetings, what we're finding is she was actually showing us, our consultant, how to really tease out the data and see, like, you know, these 3 kiddos are having difficulty with this one thing. So here are some, you know, structured literacy activities, lessons, you know, 10, 15-minute lessons, especially for our youngest kiddos, because that's their attention span, to specifically target those needs. Okay. So the McDonald School. Goal number 1, increase student achievement as measured by district and state assessments. And I listed DIBELS, STAR, and MCAS. Again, you'll see a lot of similarities here because the McDonald School and Spring Street School are both involved in this grant, and they're working really closely together. Continue work with a DESE consultant and SOR, Science of Reading Best Practices. We don't have 100% participation at McDonald School, but the number of teachers who signed on to be part of the grant, including our brand new teachers who have a lot on their plate, I was excited they were willing to do it, almost tripled. So we were really excited that there was a lot of interest. The progress monitoring, the teachers are starting to take over the ownership of doing that progress monitoring in the classroom. This past year, we had our Title I tutors, our reading specialists who did all the progress monitoring. It's really important that the teachers sit with the students and they see what behaviors their students are exhibiting during these assessments. Creating a win block for math. There's a lot of focus on ELA this year, and we don't want to forget about math. We know that we need to structure our day a little bit differently and really provide an opportunity for all hands on deck to provide that support in small groups a few times a week. And then again, the literacy routines to plan small group lessons. Teachers were struggling with that last year in terms of wit and wisdom because it does present itself as a whole group curriculum, but the need for the small group differentiated instruction is still there. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. By the end of the this is goal 2. By the end of the 23-24 school year, teachers will strengthen their knowledge and implementation of our new literacy program to make effective decisions that support student growth and development. And again, creating those pacing guides to make sure we're consistent across all classrooms and staying on track to make sure we reach where we need to reach in the curriculum. And again, the culturally responsive teaching practices and really starting to look at the formative assessments that our programs offer and how we can utilize that to guide our instruction. Goal number 3, through professional development and support from our DESE consultant teachers, we'll build capacity to effectively implement best practices. Like I said earlier, the grant involves 6 after-school meetings. They're all participants in that. There's a PD that we all have to go to. And it's important that we work together with the Spring Street because there's such a close relationship. We want to make sure those strategies are consistent from especially kindergarten to grade 1. Again, hosting the DESE leadership person, whoever that is this year, and an opportunity for teachers to visit one another, to really see, especially the teachers who are in year 2 of the grant. We want them to be like the model classrooms and having other teachers go in and watch, because I feel like you don't learn better than watching your colleagues in the trenches doing the instruction. And goal number 4, during the 23-24 school year, RLM will strengthen the homeschool connection. We talked about when we went into trimesters to increase notification to families about with assessments. We want you to know where your children are. So we will be looking at what assessments are appropriate to send home in between those 3 report card dates. PTO collaboration. We want to work a little bit closer with the PTO to reinforce the programs they can bring in. They're a great resource. They offer a lot of community events. We want to make sure the school as a whole is more involved with the PTO. Our PBIS and Pride program, always looking to strengthen it, evaluate it, see where we can make some tweaks. And then teacher community connections. For the first time, we have 4 teachers offering enrichment after school, which is great. Those classes filled up so quickly. And it was so nice to see, whether it's a teacher who's doing watercolors because that's her passion, or yoga, or playing with clay. It was nice that the students are starting to see the teachers outside the classroom, and I want to strengthen that.
Good evening. I'm going to apologize for any cough interruptions or fits. So our first goal at the Howard School is the common theme is we want to increase our student achievement as measured by MCAS, that we're scoring higher than the state in all 3 categories. Our action steps for this are a 7-week data cycle to review student progress, plan instruction, internalize lessons, vertical and horizontal alignment within grades, same grade levels and above, and plan whole class and small group and individual instruction. The implementation of a school-wide data protocol to analyze data and determine next instructional steps. Essentially, we want a school-wide checks and balance system to make sure we know where everyone is. Common formative assessments using ELA math. I should have added science to measure student progress along the testing grades. And then this is year 3 in our win block. We're transitioning to now will be strictly homogeneous grouping during this time. Will be a big focus on writing as it was a deficit in MCAS, and we should really have a tight knowledge of each student's strengths and where we need to go with them because of their deficits. Second goal, so we are also part of a grant. It's a 2-year plan. I call it the implementation grant. It may have another name. We work with a grant consultant, Charday and Missianis, and it's been really, really important to our school. So either way, this year for our PD, 100% of our teachers and administrators, so me, Missianis, I think it's pretty much the 2 of us as administrators, will participate in at least one coaching cycle, either by West Bridgewater Leadership and or Wit and Wisdom Consultant through the school year, receiving coaching feedback using teacher and student action indicators. So the action steps here are identifying the priority elements of the coaching series and transfer to CPT, comp planning time, agendas as focus indicators, schedule year-long coaching units and professional development with the vendor, schedule bi-weekly learning walks providing feedback aligned to teacher and student indicators, and then request of results of a survey that captures feedback and teacher mindset shifts from year 1 to year 2 with this new program. Goal 3, during the 23-24 school year, 100% of teachers using Wit and Wisdom and Envisions will collaborate with peers to lesson plan, analyze data, plan tiered instruction, and internalize lessons at a minimum of 2 times a month during common planning time. So this has happened. This is really our measure of year 2 of our time together during this common planning time, which I essentially look at as sacred. So implementation of school-wide data protocol to analyze data, reflect on instruction, determine next instructional steps, implementation of the planning template on Google Docs to provide running records of lessons, of collaborative lessons, planning and shared responsibility, because we realize that it takes everybody to do what we want to do. And then once again, that our win is going to be aligned to MCAS, it's homogeneous grouping, to increase student achievement along grade level standards. And our last goal is that we will increase family engagement aligned to academic and social learning. Basically, we created this goal because our survey from last year's parent-family survey indicated that we should communicate home more about everything. So our goal is that all the teachers' professional practice goal will focus on increased communication on student academics and school climate. Students will partake in school-wide assemblies to promote the pride expectations that are led by the specialists shared within the families. The first one went pretty well. Miss Winter and all the specialists, Miss Winter did most of the facilitating, but all the specialists were involved. It's a really nice time to also highlight what's happening throughout the school, not just within their core classes. And then monthly, the ITL meetings will be held to review academic and social learning within the school to, once again, act as a checks and balances to communicate to everybody. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you. So at the middle senior high school, similar to the Howard, increased our student achievement as measured by the 24 MCAS results. It's definitely an area that we need to improve. We were not happy collectively, I believe, but we know we can get there. It's really starting to focus more of the attention, towards the MCAS prep. So bringing back things that we used to do, the activators in the classrooms based on the MCAS questions, periodic MCAS practice testing, taking a look at our H-block classes, which we have used for enrichment in the middle school classes, and, gear it more towards some writing, even within the math class, because the writing was an area of growth that we need. Bringing back our Power Block tutorials, which we started last year with some of our upperclassmen, high achieving students, working with some of our students who need some help. Using our coordinators and our calming planning. I didn't go to 2 yet, sorry. Using our coordinators and some of the planning time to go through the data analysis, take a look at the individual questions on MCAS and seeing where we're missing. When we were looking at some of the questions already, there was just small parts that were like, so it really, we're going to make great strides to make a change with that, I have no doubt. For the second goal, for students, it's all about them being here. We can't educate them, help them unless they're in the building. It is a small population, but I think it's an important population that we need to work to help these students come to school and find ways that we can help them be successful. Getting the families in here, letting them trust us, with their kids to help them. The daily check-ins with some of our students at risk, mentorships with some of our at-risk students, with some of the students who, have been there and have grown and have become successful. So they kind of know where they were. Partnering with home, that should say home, sorry. Partnering with home and making those connections through our counselors and our adjustment counselors and building that rapport so that they have a place that they can reach out to and helping them set up, because a lot of times these families, they don't have access and they don't know how to do the wraparound services. So, two of the goals up here at the middle senior high school are really trying to help our most vulnerable students be successful. And part of that is building those connections with home. And getting them here. So, and that goes on to our third goal of improving the student wellness, both, emotionally. Our monthly advisor, we have advisor lessons in Power Blocks monthly, and those are all going to be geared towards SEL activities. The regular mental health check-ins for our at-risk students, we meet regularly on Tuesdays, and we have referrals from teachers, from counselors, nurse, admin, and we want to try and get to any student who may be at risk and almost trying to intervene before it gets to a point where they are in crisis. So we want to be able to help those students along the way. The Wildcat leaders, we, with our middle school students, just building that rapport at an early stage, lunch bunches with some of our vulnerable students who maybe, don't feel comfortable out in the cafeteria yet, so in a smaller setting to help them find some peers. Wildcat breakfast we started last year, and we're hoping to do 2 this year, and this is where we can highlight some of the students who may not be our brightest, our most athletic, our most talented in art or on the stage, but those students who do the right thing, who, are just kind, who help others, who really emulate our Wildcat Pride motto. So we're going to have 2 of those this year. Our Pride and our Spirit Weeks, just to build camaraderie amongst our students. And part of those Spirit Weeks are staff hosting, different passion projects in their classrooms, and kids can sign up 7 through 12 and choose where they want to go and see their teacher in a different setting. And inviting guest speakers in who we had one this year, in September, Lisa Markland, to just be able to talk to our students about, words mattering and talking with kids and just from an outside agency, telling our kids and helping our kids be better. So that's 3. And then 4 is working with our new curriculum. We have the Illustrious Math and the Wit and Wisdom to, still it takes time. So we're in year 2 of the Illustrious Math and we're in year 1 of Wit and Wisdom. And so it's new for teachers. It's a new way of teaching for them. They're learning a new curriculum. So everything takes time. So paving that opportunity for them to have time with it and planning and working with student feedback, increasing the instruction within the classroom setting so that they are using those and making sure we're covering all the frameworks within those new curricula. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Just ask, quick question.
sure.
So goal number 2, increasing student attendance. Do you have, and you may not have, I don't expect you to pull out the numbers off the top of your head right now, but do you have baseline data for that? I mean, I know you said that it's a small subset of students, and it's a small subset of students that are frequently absent. But I'm just curious as to what that baseline is and what you're hoping to, where you'd like to get them.
Sure. So I'll be honest with you, I'm going to probably start right after COVID. Because COVID was just crazy, So we'll go from there. And through our Aspen system, we can check quarterly, yearly, and all that. So that we'll start from probably 2022. So the last 2 years and going.
And then my other question was improving student wellness. These are all great things that I love to see, obviously, because you know that social emotional is my soapbox.
Well, I can dense these too. These are supposed to be bullets up here, so.
How are you going to measure their wellness, though? Are you thinking like a climate and culture survey, or?
Yes. So in the full version is we had through student survey feedback, less at-risk referrals in the SST team, so less referrals, less crisis management situations, in the building. So yeah, it's more detailed in the full version.
For some reason, I don't know if you guys can open it. I can't open it. The only one I can open is the Howard, actually. And I'm having some Google Drive issues where it won't even let me request access. So I look forward to looking at those later.
I can, come see me. Okay.
I actually have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
So we are looking at the schedule
and trying to review whether some change is necessary. Are you keeping an eye on that possible schedule change and how you're using the power blocks now to try and fit in some of these targeted areas?
Yes, we don't want to lose some of that time that we use, but we also want to try and get students in front of the teacher more frequently, because I think some of the stress in that is, sometimes you're not seeing them for 4 or 5 days, you know what I mean? So yes, it will be definitely a management type of thing. We're hoping to be able to rotate. It'll rotate, so it may not be the whole school at one time. But those are all things that we're trying to look at. We're working with the math department because they're good with numbers to see if it could be something where we had it at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So at the time, it may not be in the middle of the day. But that's a time when we do use that for meetings. And I know one of our teachers does yoga on Tuesdays, during Power Block with kids. So it's valuable. And we don't want to lose that, yeah. Yes.
So when you refer to for the student attendance, so if those children are, I guess there's a small population that's just not coming to school, is that, there's
A lot of
I guess-
times it's school avoidance. Sometimes, and so we've already this year done some home visits, so we'll go out to the home. So it's those, but we can't help and work with the students unless they're here. So it's trying to decrease that amount, and it is getting better. But we collectively will want kids to come to school every day and want to be here. And there are just some students that have school avoidance. And so we want to try and assist that. And some of it's out of their hands, sometimes it's the environment at home, so that's why we want to be able to try and help with that.
So So if kids aren't coming to school, is there a certain threshold where they just, I don't even know,
Well, we
like are they
have-
kept back or
Yeah, well,
like,
we
I
have-
guess what is the
so-
protocol?
Unexcused absences, so in the handbook, so for a full year course is 15. You can't have more than 15 unexcused. Doctor's notes, if you need to go, obviously emergency situations with family, those sorts of things are excused absences. Unexcused, you're in danger at the high school level, 9 to 12, of losing credit. So we have denied credit. So we have had students, they'll get their grade, A, B, C, because they've earned that. That's their right, but they may be denied the credit. So we deny credits sometimes. Not a ton, but you need to be here. So we send letters automatically 5, 10, 15. Parents come in and meet, but we don't want to get to that point. We want to try and be proactive.
Collaboration, there's a lot of consistency within this. Yeah.
I just had a quick question on the elementary level. It was mentioned a couple of times, those win blocks. So are those just like a free period where, or how do those work?
It's an instructional period that's based off of what you need, so what I need.
Yeah.
And so each school may look a little different this year at Howard, so this group right now we're focusing on LA, so there may be a group of 14 or so students who score Excel and 10 reading grouped together in one class.
Oh, I see.
30 or 40 minutes. Still working on, we're all working on grade level assignments, like pacing, sometimes the text might be a little bit hotter, and you just has to focus on every several weeks. You will regroup, students will have to go to the teacher, so even if it's some of the same students in the group that's meeting at the same teacher, it's also a nice natural body break for the students. to do
Right.
every day. And, we have certain different things that we specifically have to have, either in that period, or whatever you specifically
need. Okay.
The last couple of years, it's been like kind of reading because I'm sure I was making sure you could take it from one list to another. So this year, really exciting because I think, I've seen this happen before, where we got there and sort of the same place we were at to really take off. So,
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Nope. All right, Mr. Destramp, you're up. Student rep update.
The Spring Street School students have settled nicely into the new year. We're very excited to see them
Working hard in the classrooms daily, Mr. Bodwell has started a fun tradition of having lunch with the kindergarten students every Friday. They enjoy talking about pets, siblings, and favorite foods. Life Touch pictures are scheduled to be October 3rd and 4th, and teachers are looking forward to meeting parents at this year's curriculum night on Thursday, October 12th. At the Roselle, students have also settled in nicely. We're excited to see them working once again in small groups and partnerships. We had a great turnout last week at the McDonald Curriculum Night, and the teachers were very excited to be able to meet many parents that attended. The month of September has been dedicated to the passion trait, and our students are sharing what they're passionate about during morning announcements on Mondays and Fridays. At the Howard, the month of September was very busy. On the 4th, we had curriculum night, where the Howard community did a great job welcoming families into their classroom and providing them with information to work collaboratively throughout the year. A big thank you to Inclusion Matters, the PTO, and Little Leos for participating in our curriculum to speak about their partnerships with the district. On the 8th, enrichment programs provided by Sandy Churchill started back up. The numbers for the enrichment program are at the highest they've ever been, and we will be looking for more teachers for session 2. On September 27th, we held our first school assembly that focused on our Wildcat pride and community. Miss Winter facilitated the assembly that was planned out by all the specialists. The assembly embedded mindfulness, student readings, and ended with a great community building activity, rock, paper, scissors show. For the middle senior high school, It's hard to believe we've been halfway through the first term. We have a great start to the year, and we have been very fortunate to invite new guest speakers to come and speak with our students. Lisa Markland came and spoke to all students about the importance of being kind and that words matter. Lisa spoke from personal experience and encouraged students to lift each other up. On the 4th, the district attorney's office is coming to speak to students in grades 8 and 9 in their CyberSense presentations. On the 13th of October, Rebecca Fiddler from Taproots Behavioral Health is doing an educational presentation on vaping in 3-hour-long sessions. The Drama Club held auditions for the December presentation of Matilda, and they have begun their rehearsals. Mr. Hanna and Miss Page had lunch with all the new 8th through 12th grade students and began going into the 7th grade power blocks to talk to the new 7th grade students. The fall season is well underway, and there have been some great completions on the courts and the fields. Homecoming week is fast approaching, and it will be held the week of the 16th. Don't miss out on the cow plot, which will be held on Friday, October 20th, in the afternoon before the games. Homecoming week will end with the high school's homecoming dance on Saturday, October 21st, and Trunk or Treat will be held on October 28th from 3 to 5 in the parking lot.
Glad to hear we're still doing the cow plop. I was
Yeah.
explaining that to one of my
That was a lot of
coworkers
fun
the other
last
day.
year.
And I will say we had some very amused guests to West Bridgewater who they were here for, I think, a football game, and they needed a little explanation of what it was, and they actually put in some money for the raffle. They didn't win, but they certainly enjoyed it.
That's a lot of fun. All right, under business, we have a homeschool request. Mrs. Marble?
We have one additional homeschool application. I've reviewed it. It does align with the district's policy, so I think we should approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the homeschool request as presented.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And then next up under business is the MASC, MASS official delegate form. So the conference this year, the joint conference in Hyannis, is scheduled for Wednesday through Friday, November 8th through 10th. I didn't think I received the schedule of the panels in the mail yet, but it is on the website. And I looked at it. Looks like there's quite a few interesting panels this year. And so what we need to do now is just to decide who's going to attend the delegate assembly that's scheduled for the afternoon on Wednesday, the 8th. And we need to, as in years past, just both designate a delegate and an alternate. So I believe, Mrs. Milton, you are willing to be our delegate
Yeah, we'll be the
again?
delegate again.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know I can be the alternate if that works. I think we're in agreement of that. So I'll make a motion to assign Mrs. Milton as the delegate. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't know if I can make.
I'll make a motion
All right.
that Hume would be the alternate.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, done. And then, Mrs. Ellis, we can just work with you on the registrations for that when we get a chance. All right, Inclusion Matters update, Mr. Schmier.
The mission of Inclusion Matters as West Bridgewater's public Special Education Parent Advisory Council is to build inclusive schools and community. We do this by supporting families of students with IEPs and 504s and including regular education parents by offering advice, advocacy within the school system, and opportunities for education, community building through regular workshops and events for parents, guardians, and families. Are you a student in West Bridgewater Public Schools or placed in an out-of-district placement? Are you passionate about making the difference in the lives of students with special needs? Are you ready to be a voice for change and help create a more inclusive school environment? We are excited to be opening the board to student representatives this year, and we encourage students of all backgrounds and abilities to apply. Please inquire by contacting the board at inclusionmattersma@gmail.com. The deadline for the application will be October 20th, 2023. And just a reminder, we'll be hosting our final information table at Spring Street Curriculum Night on October 12th. Please stop by to meet Inclusion Board members, ask questions, learn more about us, and join our mailing list for a chance to win some awesome giveaways. You can also join us for a conversation and collaboration at our fall board meeting on October 24th at 6:15 here in the middle senior high school Learning Commons. Further on the horizon is our annual Understanding the IEP workshop in early November. We encourage caregivers to attend so they may gain a better understanding of the special education process and how to read, understand, and contribute to their child's IEP. In the words of Verna Myers, diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is being asked to dance. For more information about Inclusion Matters and upcoming events, you can find us on Facebook at Inclusion Matters MA or by visiting our website at www.inclusionmattersma.com.
Great, thank you. Moving on to policies.
Okay, we have a handful, but this should be relatively quick. They're pretty easy this month, I would say. So the first motion I'm going to move to rescind the following policies. GCQD, resignation of professional staff members. GCQE, retirement of professional staff members. GDQD, suspension and dismissal of support staff members. And JKA, corporal punishment. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Sure. So GCQD, GCQE, and GDQD are all covered in collective bargaining agreement and thus are redundant. And then JKA has been incorporated into JKAA.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, move to adopt the following policies. AB, the people and their school district. BB, school committee legal status. BEDB, agenda format. BEDB-E, agenda format. BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings. BEDH-E, guidelines for public comment. EFC, free and reduced cost food services. JKAA, physical restraint of students. KCB, community involvement in school affairs. And KI, visitors to schools, as written. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Sure. So policy EFC and KI had no edits. We just added the sourcing. Policy AB and BEDB-E were new to our index. And then I just wanted to point out that BEDB-E was agenda format, which basically goes through the agenda format, which we're doing. I wanted to point that out, which is and what we're following. Policy BB and BEDH-E, there was no changes to the content. We just updated the pronouns. And then the ones that had changes to content were JKAA, physical restraints of students. We included language from JKA on corporal punishment. Policy BEDH, public comment at school committee meetings. There was significant reorganization and consolidation of some of the rules and procedures in the revised policy. However, it is reflective of what we're already doing and are currently have in place. BEDB, agenda format. This is different than the last one that I just mentioned. We removed the language. The language was removed around the adjournment time. And it was incorporated elsewhere at chair's discretion. So I think in the prior policy, it might have said 10 p.m. or I believe, if I can recall. I think it was 10 p.m.
Yeah, I think it was 10 p.m.
So in the public comment section, was there anything about limitation of time per speaker? So we're accounting for that before we get
Yes.
lots of speakers. We don't
And
often
it
have public
was-
comment,
yes,
but I know in
pulling it
some
up.
places it
Yeah.
becomes an issue.
And it was actually in our previous policy as well. I can't, for some reason, I can't pull up anything on my Google Drive right now. But I believe it said something like 3 minutes.
3
right?
minutes. I have it
Yes,
up.
3 minutes. It was in the old
Yeah, it
policy
was in
and
the
it
old
is
one.
in the new policy as well. Any further discussion? No?
Nope.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one, we're going to move to hold policy ADF, School District Wellness Program, open for further review and discussion at the October 30th meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, this is
major
just,
stuff
we're
going on.
working with Mr. Bodwell,
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot of people within the school community that are, the nurses and wellness at the Howard that are
And
working
Anne Marie
too.
Grinder is also really
Yep.
involved as well in just revamping the whole program. So
And we scheduled a meeting for October 18th.
Awesome.
To
Okay.
really get right into it.
one
Perfect.
more time on that one. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Move to open the following policies for review at the next meeting. BA, School Committee Operational. BAA, Evaluation of School Committee Operational Procedures. BBA, School Committee Powers and Duties. BBAA, School Committee Member Authority. BE, School Committee Meetings. BEDA, Notification of School Committee Meetings. BEDD, Rules of Order. BEDF, Voting Method. IHB, Special Instructional Programs and Accommodations. IHBA, Programs for Students with Disabilities. And IHBAA, Observations of Special Education Programs. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
As always, thank you for all your hard work on the policies.
We're happy to do
I
it.
think we're at 45%.
Something like that, yeah.
Close to half.
Yes, we have
Excellent.
it all graphed out, yes.
Warrants.
All right, the following warrants were issued and paid for the fiscal year 2024. Bill warrants. On September 7th, 2023, there was no warrant. On September 14th, 2023, $181,086.36. September 21st, 2023, $265,851.83. And September 28th, 2023, for $91,174.24. The following three payroll warrants on September 1st, 2023 for $543,882.79. September 15th, 2023 for $560,240.98. And September 29th, 2023 for $569,467.33. As always, all warrants are public record and once signed are available in the Selectman's office for review.
All right, thank you. Moving to public comment. Members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. Audience members are reminded that personnel issues or issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public comment. Seeing we have no takers, we will move on to the calendar of events. What's going on? District-wide, on October 4th, there'll be a PTO meeting in the RLM CAF. On October 9th, no school for Columbus Day. On October 11th, there'll be an athletic boosters meeting at 7 o'clock here in the Learning Commons. And on October, is it 13th? 13th, superintendent's morning meeting at 9:15 here in the Middle Senior High School. At the Middle Senior High School on October 3rd, there'll be yoga with Bragna during Power Block on Tuesdays. On October 3rd, a CyberSense assembly for grades 3 and 9 with district attorney. On October 4th, yoga with Nurse Julie from 6:30 to 8:30 in the Learning Commons. On October 4th, National Junior Honor Society elections at 10:30 in the auditorium. October 7th, Rotary Club Rubber Ducky Drop at 12 o'clock at the baseball field. On October 11th and 12th, there will be Picture Day with Life Touch. On October 13th, there'll be a vaping education assembly, as we talked about. And on the 14th is the PSATs from 8 to 12:30. On October 17th, Principal's Coffee Hour will be at 8 a.m. And October 19th, Powder Puff game at the 6 o'clock on the turf. October 20th will be the Homecoming Run House apparel sale, time to be determined. Also on October 20th will be a pep rally and the Cow Plot fundraiser at 3:30 at the baseball field. And October 20th, a homecoming dance will be from 7 to 10. And October 26th, multilingual learner family night from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the CAF. And on October 26th, NHS trunk or treat from 8 to 5 o'clock in the high school parking lot. Rain date will be October 29th. At the Howard School on October 17th is the Booster-thon Fun Run, sponsored by the PTO. On October 20th, the fifth graders will go on a field trip to Sturbridge Village. And October 25th will be the district attorney presentation. Roselle McDonald School on October 17th will be the Booster-thon Fun Run, sponsored by the PTO. On the 20th, there'll be Halloween movie night at 7 o'clock in the CAF, sponsored by the Lions Club. On October 23rd, the School Improvement Council meeting will be held at 3:30 in the RLM conference room. And at Spring Street on October 3rd and October 4th will be Life Touch School Pictures. October 12th will be curriculum night. From 6 to 6:30 will be for the preschool, and from 6:30 to 7 will be for the kindergarten. On October 16th, the Booster-thon Fun Run for pre-K will take place, sponsored by the PTO. And on the 17th will be the fun run for kindergarten. And then on the 18th, the School Improvement Council meeting will be held at 3 o'clock. I think that's it. Our next regular meeting date will be on October 30th at 6 o'clock here in the Learning Commons. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Have a good night. Thank you.